Good morning. We made it. I hope everyone's doing fantastically. I'm trying to think the last time I was live with you all, almost 2 weeks ago. And it has been a crazy and wonderful and fabulous 2 weeks. For those of you that may have missed it, my daughter Kaylee got married 2 weekends ago. We had what I guess is termed a micro wedding. And guess what? I forgot my proper introduction. If you're joining us for the first time, I'm Melissa McLeod here at the Wool and the Floss in Grosse Pointe Woods, Michigan. We are a creative escape for all stitchers. And it has been 2 weeks full of fantastic events in my life, which has involved many of you. So yes, 2 weekends ago, my daughter Kaylee got married, and it was just an incredible event. If those of you who have children who are about to get married, I highly recommend the 21-person wedding. We kind of ended up pushing things along because her now husband, it's still hard for me to say that, is from Windsor, Ontario, which of course is in Canada. And even though he lives 20 minutes from her, 20 minutes from where we live, maybe 30 minutes from the shop, it's still technically a foreign country, and the immigration service is involved, and it's complicated. And after talking to, I think they talked to 2 or 3 attorneys, I came up with the best plan of just rip off the Band-Aid, get married. It'll be 2 years before he can live in the States, and you need to get that clock rolling. So that's what they did. And we just had the most beautiful event. And planning a wedding in 4 weeks, it was incredible. It was just incredible. That's all I have to say. They are just so deliriously in love. It's almost hysterical to see them together. And they're so sweet, and everything's great. And then we rolled out of that into high-end, hurry-up retreat planning. Of course, we've been planning our retreat for about 66 people for about 9 months. And it was go time, and everyone arrived here on Friday, and we had a fantastic team of Flossettes helping to make this happen. And it was also fantastic. So we are now all kind of in recovery mode. I stayed home yesterday, although I didn't actually not work. Kelly's staying home today, and hopefully is actually not working, because we're all still in a little recovery mode. It was so fun, but it is a lot of work. It's a lot of talking, a lot of interacting with so many fantastic people. I see Mary Kay saying the retreat was awesome. So thank you for that, Mary Kay. We loved having you here. We loved having the 65 other attendees here. We had 5 guest designers, plus my fabulous Rebecca, who is my marketing guru, came up from Florida and represented Melissa Loves Needlepoint. We brought in a lot of special exclusives, which we talked about yesterday. There'll be some more, which we'll be talking about a little bit more on unboxing, a little bit more next Tuesday. But today we are here to talk about a find that I found. How's that? Emily's here helping me. She was actually running around the shop with me this morning, helping me get organized for this, because of course I always have the idea and I hadn't quite fully executed it. But honestly, it's better to execute it at the last minute, because then hopefully most of it's still in my head when I'm talking. So I love to do ribbon work. I have always loved to do ribbon work. I think ribbon work looks really intimidating, and it's actually really, really easy. It's very forgiving. If you make a mistake, you just yank the ribbon through to the back of the canvas and you try again. It's really quite easy. So we have things kind of spread out all over the place here. So as a matter of fact, Melissa Prince had seen that I had stitched one of her dogs for a Stitch Club exchange, gosh, probably 5 years ago. And she had all these other dogs. I will show them up close. And she said, would you do stitch guides for all of these? So I put all 5 into one pillow, because I am a big dog lover, in case you guys all don't already know about that. And I used all sorts of different ribbon techniques in each and every one of these dogs that I learned from many of my ribbon books. I did take a class way back when with Kelly Clark and learned a little bit, but honestly, I have this ribbon book that is out of print, but don't worry, I have a solution. A ribbon book that's out of print that really gives you a step-by-step pictures of how to do these ribbon flowers that I just showed you. And in that realm, honestly, like my dog could practically stitch these if they just had fine motor skills. So maybe I should say someone from the gorilla family could do it because they have fine motor skills. So I had been looking and looking and looking for this book. If you ever want to look on like used books, it's called The A to Z of Ribbon Work, but there's a couple of them, so I can't quite tell you which ones they are. But I did find another ribbon book. So let's back up to this one for a minute. We do have a couple of the dogs in the building. So if you have a love for Cavaliers, these are 4x4 squares. So that canvas and the stitch guide is in the building. So we're happy to pull that together for you. We also, and you don't need any books with the stitch guide because I have detailed how to do all the ribbon things. It is an older stitch guide of mine, so you'll see some drawn charts as opposed to, now I actually have big girl software, but no one has ever complained. It's very easy to figure out what I'm doing here. We also have the golden retriever in the building, as well as its matching canvas. And we also have the dachshund in the building with his matching canvas. So I can order what didn't I cover? The Doodle. Springer Spaniel and the Doodle for you all. But these are here. She has a number of other dogs, but these are just the ones that I wrote the stitch guides for. So those dogs are all orderable. They're on 18 mesh. They're 4x4 squares. So theoretically they're for coasters. I don't think you're using ribbon work for coasters, but you can use them for a lot of other things. So that's that. The book that I mentioned that I kind of learned most of that from is now out of print. But I discovered this Beginner's Guide to Silk Ribbon Embroidery. It is 48 pages long. This is my personal copy, so when you see me like ramping it open and ruining the spine, I'm not doing that to any of the new books. It has step-by-step pictures in here as well. It also would enable you, honestly, to, we hosted the class by Tamara, I said her name right. I have to think about it every time. Tamara Abdi. And she took like plain canvas and created things. So there are literally drawings in here, so you could create your own on blank canvas. This has step-by-step pictures, color pictures, basics of ribbon work. It is designed for silk ribbon work embroidery, but you can do all of this silk ribbon work on needlepoint canvas. And by the way, the book is $16. So this is not going to break the bank, but there's so much knowledge to be learned in here. I personally have never taken a blank canvas and created a sampler. You could do that. I have just taken these directions and applied them to needlework canvas, to needlepoint canvas. So that is kind of what we're here to talk about today, is this fantastic new book. I can't remember how many I've left in stock. I did put them out for the retreat, so some of them walked off. Is it Ann Cox?
Yes,
it is Ann Cox. You got it right, Deb. So it is just a great book full of resources. She has, to Deb's point, other books. I think some of them are like this thick, a little maybe overwhelming to those of us that might be new to ribbon work, but she is a gem and knows what she's doing. So
if you haven't been on our lives before or want to order, feel free to claim things. I'm taking notes as we go here, so if you'd like one, just comment and I will get your order for you.
Okay. Emily is moderating. I didn't mention that. I usually go through everyone who's in the building today, but right this moment you only need to know about Emily and I. Everybody else is managing everything else. So thank you, Emily, for that.
Yep.
So we have some basic accessories that if you are going to do ribbon work that you might be interested in. And there's not a lot, which is beautiful. Like people think, oh, it's going to be so hard. The one difference is most needlepoint professionals will recommend that you use a chenille needle with ribbon work. The difference between a chenille needle and a tapestry needle is it has a sharp tip. So, I usually say, oh, you can't really hurt yourself with a tapestry needle. These are actually sharp. Like these could, you poke yourself too hard, you might have a little pop of blood on your finger. You're not going to die from it, but your needlepoint canvas might get ruined, so just be careful because they actually are sharp. And the point of them being sharp is they can pierce the ribbon without causing like a large hole. So we have chenille needles in the building. We also have, and I should have pulled like a regular laying tool, but I think you guys know what that's like. Usually a laying tool is tapered to a wooden tip, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different ribbon laying tools in front of me that are different colorways. So usually they're wood tapered to kind of a sharp end, and that sharp end can snag your ribbon. A ribbon laying tool, which if you ever went to a class from like someone like Tony Maneri or something, they would absolutely say you have to have a ribbon laying tool. They have a metal tip, and this is not sharp at all. Like, this is not going to snag your ribbon. It's nice and smooth. And in certain techniques, I will show you why having this laying tool will be very useful. So I do have a ribbon laying tool. This is the Halloween version, because of course we had a Halloween laying tool, Halloween ribbon class, excuse me. We have the patriotic version, red, white, and blue. We have the blue and white version. We have natural, and we also have hot pink. So this, I will bring this laying tool up throughout our little tutorial hour that we're having here. If you are going to use a ribbon laying tool with this silk ribbon, you might want to have one of our laying tool minders. So our laying tool minders enables you, this is magnetic, this will go on the back of your canvas. This little loop-de-loop will go on the front. I think I saw my friend Lisa was here. Lisa's the one who kind of clued me on to creating this product. So how about that? This is Tools of the Trade. And when it's on your canvas, your laying tool will slide right through there and be at the ready, so you can easily use it when you are stitching. So those are just kind of random accessories that you may or may not want if you decide you want to dive into ribbon work. None of them are absolutely required. I am just a big believer. I lost the top of this. We'll find it at some point. It's see-through, so no wonder I lost it. Here it is. I'm a big believer in having the right tools makes our stitching life easier and therefore more enjoyable. But, you know, they're all not 100% necessary. A lot of times you can use your finger, you can use another needle. Like, there's ways around having to invest in these other things, so they're really kind of unnecessary. Ribbon comes in multiple dimensions from multiple manufacturers. We carry Treenway, River Silks, Tilly Thomas, and a limited supply of the Dinky Dyes ribbon. So River Silks to me is the what am I trying to say? The backbone of the river, of this ribbon that is available. We carry it in 4mm, which comes on these beige cards, and I'm only saying that because on the wall you'll see that the 7mm comes on black cards, and the 13mm we will order. It comes on a different color card right now. I can't remember what, but that just is a reminder as you're pulling things off the wall for us and for you if you're self-serving, 4mm and 7mm. Most of their ribbons are on the solid front. They do have some that are speckled. They have so many. Hold on, I'm reaching for my. So I can special order any color for you. And as a matter of fact, I'm not sure we've gotten new little samples lately because they're always adding on. So we can always order these. They are hand dyed. So sometimes a new dye lot that comes in might be a little bit different from our sample. River Silks is 100% not going out of business. Her Jean is, I haven't read all the emails, so I know enough to be dangerous. The business is transitioning to her daughters. That's what I know. So we will still continue to be well served. If her daughters run her business half as well as she did, we are still in great shape. No one ran their thread business better than Jean. So she is fantastic. I remember talking to Susie Valerie years ago, and she's like, I swear I hit send and the box is already at my shop. She's like, I don't know how she gets it together so quickly. So she's fantastic. Definitely still around, just transitioning the business to her daughter. And actually there's just an email this morning about, I think that it's moving location, so there might be a small window where like everything's in transit and we can't quite get things yesterday like we're used to. But yeah, we are still in good hands. So River Silk, 4mm, 7mm, 13mm. We also have, I lost my sample. Here it is. Just they're making friends all over the place. I am a big fan of the Treenway silks. I do not carry, and I don't carry the full line of either one. We have a very broad selection, but there are so many colors. There's like, it'd be next to impossible to carry all of them in a typical shop space. But Treenway Silks makes a 3.5mm, just think of it as 4mm. It's kind of the same thing. But most of them have this over-dyed look to it. Do you see how there's like just these subtle color changes? And they are absolutely beautiful. I just love the Treenway Silks. I do believe these come in a 7mm. I should have been doing this, you know, when Colleen was around, because Colleen does a lot about flora
Yes.
and flowers and gardening and all that thing. Emily and I are like, oh, we think this might be Daisy. I'm not sure. But I believe that we can get most of their colors in 7mm. We carry the 3.5. And then we also have a limited selection of the Dinky Dyes. I do like the Dinky Dyes ribbon. I personally think it is more fragile than the rest. Like these, sometimes you can get a run in your ribbon. The colors are fantastic. It just is slightly more fragile. So if you've tried, I think my point in saying that, if you've tried ribbon work in the past and got frustrated because it was too fragile and too easy to run, maybe try a River Silks ribbon or a Tilly Thomas ribbon, which has like this, the edges are dyed. So in the Treenway and the Dinky Dyes, they're over dyed like in the landscape mode, and these are dyed in the portrait mode, if that technology terms help you at all. So to my knowledge, the Tilly Thomas ribbons only come in 7mm. I have not, unless that's changed recently, and they're absolutely beautiful. So those are the ribbons we carry. So let's get on to the fun stuff. I just kind of wanted to give you a basic lay of the land. And Emily and I picked out about, I don't know, 10 different canvases, and we're like, this is how we would do them. So we thought we might start from like easiest to hardest, or easiest to most detailed, maybe, because like I said, I don't think ribbon works very hard. The book itself has a whole section about materials and tools that you would want to use, and a lot of what we covered is in here, but keep in mind it's also has more to do with actual cross stitch and or true ribbon work. So you're not going to need hoops. You're just going to apply these theories to needlepoint canvas, and they talk about silk ribbons and how there's all sorts of different sizes. They talk to you about anchoring a ribbon. The one thing that is not included in here is how to lock your ribbon onto your needle, and that's something that hopefully I'll remember. If I don't have a tutorial about that, I will add one to our website.
I think Rebecca showed that on one of her.
So it's probably on our
So,
website.
yeah, we'll have to
Okay,
check,
we'll
but-
double check. If we don't, if there isn't a tutorial on our website about how to lock your ribbon lock your needle onto ribbon, we will do that, because the ribbon's very slippery, so it's very, very easy for it to come off your needle, and that can also be frustrating. But there's some helpful tips on how to anchor your ribbon, and then it gets right into the ribbon stitches. So what's nice is it will give you a step-by-step tutorial, but then it also shows you samples of the things you can make. So if you are a visual learner, this book is going to be fantastic. So let's start with the first canvas I picked. It is on 13 mesh. It is what I didn't grab, Emily, but I'm going to steal one of yours. Can I have one of your alphabet boards? You'd think this was my first rodeo.
Do you need a measuring device?
I don't think
Okay,
so, because
okay.
we'll be okay.
All right.
Thank you, though.
Yep.
Okay, I ended up needing a lot more threads for this canvas than I wanted to use, to be very honest. This is from Stitching with Stacy. Of course, it is, it's on 13 mesh. It's about 6 by 3, maybe 7 by 3. And it's $68, and you could stitch this whole thing in basket weave. I did pull lots of threads for it. I had a really hard time finding, I did pull Milan everywhere I could because we have Milan in 10-yard cards, which of course saves a lot of money. But these muddy greens, as I call them, which doesn't sound very pretty, but that's what's going on down here in the base of this lovely ceramic parrot that you're now stitching in thread. So I did have to pull Silk and Ivory for that, but I did pull Milan for the rest of everything. So I think he is just so handsome, and his chest has these fantastic greens, and we're going to get into the ribbon work at the very end, but his chest is this fantastic greens. And the bird himself, I have all sorts of reds and browns for the rest of him. And again, these 10-yard cards, we love it. We just received all the Milan colors. We had their basic colors to begin with, and they just added a bunch, and there's so many new pretty colors. So this would take care of the rest of the bird. But then we get to talk about the fun part. So in this case, typically you would do, oh, one other little thing. And then I just found this lovely kind of icy blue for the background that will kind of set him off. Because the finishers, if you do this as a little stand up, pause because you weren't using the app. What? Why are we paused?
Oh, it is paused.
Oh, now we're back. Hopefully we're back. Can people still hear me? I have no idea why we're using Emily's phone and it paused. And I don't know why.
I'm sorry.
No, not your fault. I'm just like, I don't know why it says we're not using the app, because we're in the Instagram app. So I'm very confused. So in any event, this nice icy blue, and I might do it as kind of arched finish with a flat bottom. But the fun part is the ribbon work. So it has these fantastic little ribbons down at the bottom of the space. So what I would do with him is I'd probably stitch most of this in basket weave, maybe an interesting stitch for the background, not too overwhelming. Maybe, I mean, a Nabucco is always a go-to around here. But I would do something fairly simple in the background as well. And then these ribbons. I have a little cheat sheet. Where did I bury my cheat sheet, Emily? I lost a straight stitch. Here we go. So page 19 in our book talks about the straight stitch. So for these darling little ribbons, sorry, I feel like, do I really have the right?
Yeah,
I think I do.
do.
Yeah, okay. I have ribbons here. Because this is on 13 mesh, and you're just going to be doing a straight stitch, and a straight stitch and ribbon is exactly what you think it is. I would use these larger ribbons. These are the 7mm, and they perfectly match these little flowers. I would do the centers in a little sparkle, because, you know, sparkle makes everything better. And the straight stitch is going to be perfect for this. So you've now seen the colors. We're going to hold on to the canvas. We're going to talk about the stitch. So the basic straight stitch is talked about here on page 19, and you're just going to honestly make like a straight stitch. You're going to use your ribbon laying tool to make sure that it's a little puffy, you get a little volume to it. So in doing so, these are going to become a little bit dimensional. They're going to be very easy, and they're just going to set the whole thing off perfectly. So ribbon work to me just really makes everything shine. So there is our darling Stitching with Stacy.
So we had Rebecca had a good question. She said, "Do you normally stitch under flowers done in ribbon work? That always confuses me."
Wait, what? Oh, underneath?
So you can either do long, and sometimes I'll do long stitches underneath to cover up, and then do the Japanese ribbon stitch or whatever I'm doing over it. Or sometimes I will stitch like the background in closer, like covering up some of the petals, and then do the stitch over it because I don't want, you know, blank canvas showing through.
So I'm clearly a much lazier stitcher than Emily, and I don't do any of that. I leave it open, and because if you have, like, technically these have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 petals, well, you can make one petal 2, like you just add a little more ribbon.
Yeah.
So any of those solutions totally work. But I would just be adding either another layer on top, a layer where it slightly overlaps. So that's how I manage it. But Emily's solutions are also easily done too. Like I said, I'm just kind of a lazy stitcher. So the one thing that I think we both have in common is that we would always do the ribbon last. The ribbon becomes dimensional, and then other things that you're doing get caught on it. The only exception might be is if you decided, yep, Emily and I are sharing a brain today. If you decided that instead of doing a sparkly center, like I might do those centers in, pulling out the thread, those centers in French knots. But you could also do them in like messy beading. So if you were doing, either way, the centers you would, oh no, I think I would do the centers first if I were stitching it. No, I wouldn't, sorry, thinking out loud. If you're just gonna basket weave stitch the centers, I would do the centers first. If you're going to French knot or bead the centers, I would do it last. But you're gonna stitch everything else, then do your ribbon work, and then do either the beading or the French knots for the center last. So hopefully that helps. And I love getting the questions, but we're gonna keep moving on. So if you have other questions, yell, yell, yell.
Yeah, don't be afraid of this either. It's not not as scary as you think. Just use a light hand.
So one of the saddest things in my needlepoint world, which let's keep in mind, people, this is just needlepoint. It's not really all that sad. But I was in Florida in September, and of course we are at my mother-in-law's house. I have gifted her a lot of needlepoint, and I went into the attic. I found a couple ornaments. I said to my husband, do you think I can take these? He's like, I mean, it kind of broke my heart a little bit. He's like, Melissa, nobody else is gonna want it. Okay, he's right, but it's still a little sad. So I go up, I find the ornaments I've made her. And then on this end table next to the couch, there's a framed piece that I did for her. It's a Raymond Crawford pot of some sort of flowers. Again, I don't know my flowers. They're orange and yellow, and they're very pretty. And I like stitch a cute background, stitch a cute little pot, and I did the ribbon work last, and I hadn't done a lot of ribbon work. I mean, I'm telling you guys, the ribbon work was the majority of this canvas, like a 4x4, and it's all of this. It took me like a half hour. Like, it is so easy, and it looks so intimidating. Now, you know, the more and more complicated stitches you get to, but I was doing just straight stitches, just like we just talked about, in different lengths, and it was done in no time, and it was fantastic. September, I toyed with taking it home with me. Went down there in November, you guys. It was gone. Like, I don't know what happened to it. I think I had bought a handmade wood frame, and I don't think my brother and sister-in-law watch me, which is good. They were down there with their 3 dogs. I think it was at next to a couch. I think that wood frame got chewed up by a dog, and no one confessed. But it's just needlepoint, and honestly, I could probably stitch it again in about 3 hours. So, in any event, we digress. It was a little bit sad though, because I almost took it, and then I didn't, and I should have. But oh well. Okay, these. I saw someone complimenting me about my necklace. Thank you very much. This is Elizabeth Crane Swartz necklace, of course. And these eggs are from her. This looks like a little wacky. I mean, people on the wall, if you haven't been knee deep in needlepoint, are probably like, what the heck is that thing? It is a 3-dimensional egg. When you finish stitching it, it gets rolled up. Let's see if I can do this without completely massacring things. It gets rolled up and finished like this. And then these ends, you can see how they all, if they come together. So it becomes very much egg shaped, but of course, currently it's a 2-dimensional object that becomes a 3-dimensional object. So Emily pulled these, and she was also talking about doing a straight stitch on these guys. So in this case, we were both saying that a lot of times with ribbon work, we really like to see stranded silk used with it, because it just, it lays flatter. Stranded silk will lay flatter so that when you do your ribbon work, it pops a little bit more. Like that dimension is nice. So she pulled, of course, a favorite. We love Soie Blanc because it's really, really white for a silk. For the background, one of our favorites, which we don't use enough personally, is this over-dyed vineyard silk tone on tone. This is called Landscape. I think there's only like 6 colors in the tone on tone family, but they're like brown. There's a brown and a green and a blue that we just use over and over again. They are fantastic. So that would just be for your little bit of greenery. And you know, everything's better with a little bit of sparkle. So Emily also pulled this yellow for the centers. Were you thinking stitching the centers or?
I mean, you could French knot, or, I mean, when you stitch with radiance, it looks like beads. So,
Well, and the other thing is they're also, that's why I'm sitting here looking.
or could you do
You can do a
rows?
Smyrna cross
Oh,
because
Smyrna-
they're a
oh, yeah,
perfect
Smyrna
square.
cross will
So you
great.
might want to do a Smyrna cross in the center because it is a 4x4 square. But then again, you get to do this beautiful ribbon work. So she pulled one of the treenways. This is appropriately called rhododendron. Not that these are rhododendron flowers, but that is a beautiful
My
rhododendron
Instagram
color.
feed just dropped, so
Uh-oh.
sorry. No, it just didn't have
So again, in this case, you would just do these little straight stitches. The one thing that you are gonna have to be a little careful of when you do this is to make sure that your ribbon stitches don't overlap these V's at all, because those become the seams for the egg when it becomes three-dimensional. So you need to be really careful that your ribbon is not like popping out into your selvage area. But we just do little straight stitches with that as well, and really, really pretty. There is a companion to that, which I think would also be the straight stitches, and Emily kind of kept it on the same vibe because, you know, they're friends. So this is the lavender three-dimensional egg, and she pulled a beautiful splendor for the background. You'd use probably 3-ply of most people. You could do these centers again. I'm double checking, I don't have glasses on. I think you could do Smyrna crosses and maybe French knots for those little guys. For the centers in this gorgeous pink. What color is this called? They always have fun names. Is this Frilly Lily?
kitten. Oh yeah, it might be Frilly Lily.
Cosmo. No wonder I like
even
it.
Better.
I barely ever have like a real drink. But I did have a Cosmo this weekend when I took all the vendors out to dinner. It was so fun. And these smaller flowers, you could even stitch in just some white out of your stash. But what people don't realize is you can actually stitch with ribbon. You don't want to do a ton of it, but those flowers are so small, you might be able to do that. But I would do the straight stitch, or Emily had picked and advised doing the straight stitch around the rest of them. So those two are friends, really pretty. And again, that tone on tone for the green as well. And there, away they go. So that's the 2 3-dimensional eggs. Let's see if I can get these all straight for you, Miss M.
Yep.
There you go.
I pulled them, so I gotcha.
And there you go. Okay. Moving down the pike, we actually have another Elizabeth Crane Swords. Like I said, we're kind of moving from like simpler to more complicated. So these I think are Paperwhites.
Yes.
And really, really pretty. She calls this from her card collection, so I don't know if they were inspired by some
Card art.
cards.
Card art is what it's called.
So is that a
know.
licensed artist?
It might be. Yeah.
I think that's a licensed artist with her that starts out that wore cards once upon a time. These colors are so good that Emily pulled together. Oh my gosh, I want to go home and stitch this right now.
I
Look
want to
how
stitch mine too.
Pretty those greens are, and she's got
The greens
two.
are hand painted.
Both of them?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
so the
subtle,
red's a
but-
solid, and then I thought just maybe the middle ones, but these two are part of the Pepper Pot hand painted line. So if you look at them a little more closely, whoops, dropping one, they have slight variegation to them, and they are really pretty. So that would be, of course, for your background, and you could do some interesting stitches, but you could also just basket weave it. So pretty. But then, of course, the flowers are what's going to make this shine. So I'm going to go back to my book, and again, this is my personal book, so when I'm torquing the pages open, don't have a heart attack. We're not sending you a used book, I promised. There's a whole section on how to do lazy daisies with ribbon work. Now, those of you that have stitched for a little while have probably used a lazy daisy in your regular stitching. It's not a lot different. The biggest difference, and you can kind of see it here, where they're using a laying tool to keep it a little bit puffy. And that's the thing with, trying to find a better picture, there we go. So there's some down here. With ribbon, it is definitely a time where you want to leave your stitches a little more loosey-goosey. Pulling them too tight just kind of defeats the whole purpose. You want your ribbon to shine. So in this case, we would recommend that you use this really white, I don't know how they get silk so white, River Silk's 4mm ribbon, and then just do that in lazy daisy stitches all around. You've got your little centers, and of course there's a glorious lime green to the bead for the middle. If you're someone who doesn't want a bead, you could easily just use a little stitch of this bright green as a French knot in the middle. You could also add a sparkle green we can pull for you from your stash. Yeah, so that one is super fun as well. So there's that guy.
I always get myself in trouble when I pull threads.
I know,
for things.
we're like, oh, now we need it. Okay, next up, I'm trying to remember the artist for this one.
Oh,
Kate the
Kate the
Great?
Great, yeah.
Okay, this is from Kate the Great. This apparently is a sign you won't see on Emily's or my door because we are not gardeners. Colleen needs this. A lot of you I know are active gardeners and your season is approaching. So in this case, Emily pulled white for the background.
Yep.
Yeah. White, just simple vineyard silk, white for the
At first I
background.
had sparkle, but then decided it would detract from the fun stuff, so.
Yeah. And then she pulled for the lettering this.
No, that's for the handle and
Okay.
stuff. The lettering I did sparkle.
So lettering in Radiance. We did get restocked in our beeswax. So beeswax is in the building, I believe. Maybe
Yeah,
not.
I think we're waiting. Well,
We're
we might
waiting
have a
on the
little.
packaging.
We'll see.
Yeah. Radiance for the lettering. And then we're gonna get to the basket. The basket I would do, Emily created all this, and I think she came up with fantastic ideas. This neon rays for the trim on this basket. And then the basket itself, we have this fantastic book that I love, Tasket, Lots and Lots of Baskets. This is from Duo Designs. And I picked out one stitch at once, and then Emily's like, well, I think we need a treme. And so in this book, there is a treme stitch. Hold on, I gotta get to the right page. There we go. This is the treme stitch, and look at how pretty that is. So basically you're laying a long stitch, and of course Emily pulled two different colors of thread work. So it's going to be a very subtle, but the treme stitches go pretty fast because you're laying a long stitch and then doing long stitches over them. So this basket stitch would be so fantastic for this basket. If you wanted to stitch it more simply, we did pull a third color, but am I right, Emily? I don't think you need this color.
Well,
if you
yeah,
do
if
this
you're doing the
stitch.
treme, you don't, but if you're doing like something basket weave, if you want to do,
like
yeah.
satin stitches
Right.
or whatever, you'll want this darker color. But if you do the treme stitch, that becomes superfluous. And then lastly, we go back to page 17 of our magic book. Page 17. And look at this picture. I love this. She has shown you French knots in 2mm, 4mm, 7mm, 13mm. And what a difference the size of the ribbon makes, which is fantastic. So again, you might know how to do a French knot. You don't necessarily need a ribbon book to teach you that, but look at this knowledge base and this visual reference. I love it. So Emily pulled, this is your favorite ribbon. I think you've used this multiple times. What is it actually called? Macao,
I think.
which is probably what that bird was, maybe?
No, that's a macaw.
Oh, see, what do I know?
Macau's an island.
Oh, there we go. Well, see, I was like squinting. I'm like, is that a U or another?
Well, it
U? I
could be a
can't tell.
macaw too,
There
because
we
it's
go.
bright colors.
Yeah, so as usual, I'm confused around here. So, but French knots in these colors, and you can jump around to have your colors in different places, and that one ribbon will do all the work for you. If you do a single wrap and you're like, that looks a little like light, I want it to have a little more oomph, do 2 wraps, do 3 wraps. You can play with this. If you had larger flowers, I might recommend a fatter ribbon, but this 3.5mm is perfect for the size of these flowers. So that is in the garden, and boom, boom, boom. There we go, my dear. I'm gonna take that piece of paper too, just in case. Okay, next up, we're moving down the row. Oops, that goes with that too.
Yep.
I picked this one, and I dropped the ball. Haha, I didn't get very far. I didn't do the last thing I wanted to do, because then I got distracted because I found matching scissors. Who needs scissors to match their canvas? Nobody, but I happened across them. I was on my way to go look for a letter out of Chrissy Johnson's Essentials book. And I know there's one in there that's the perfect size. So this
there's
is
like a scripty one that would look
yes,
really
that's
good.
exactly what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Do you remember the artist of this?
No.
Me neither. So this is called the Summer Wreath.
Oh, it might
I
be.
think
Is
these
it
colors
boxwood?
are fantastic.
I don't remember.
So I just picked a simple vineyard silk for the background, and this is called Dandelion, which, considering we're doing flowers, is rather appropriate. The collard greens for the greenery, and I might do some wrapped back stitch, some outline stitch to do your greenery. And then I have this gorgeous velvet that is going to be a scripty M in the middle.
Good point.
Good point, thank you.
You're welcome.
And that would be for an initial in the middle. If you have the Essentials book, I can guarantee you there's something that fits in there. I just wanted to show you guys, but I didn't get that far. And then for the, I think they're actually, these might even supposed to be strawberries. I'm not really sure, but it doesn't matter. You can make this whatever you want. I would take 2 of the Treenway ribbons and do French knots for those as well. And I think it would be so pretty and just really nicely change it up a little bit. But that's where I said I got a little distracted, because then I ran across these scissors. And like I said, nobody needs scissors that match their canvas, but come on, look how cute they are. They're one of our much more budget friendly scissors. But I was like, those look so cute with this canvas. And they're $18. So anyway, really fun. So I thought probably if you're doing this for yourself, you don't need this, but maybe if you want to send a little stitchy gift to a friend, having that little extra pair of scissors I thought was kind of cute. So that was happenstance on my way by. I'm gonna let you do that if you don't mind.
Yeah.
So there is that good point, and that's the Summer Wreath. They do they have four seasons. We have, I think, one other one in the building, and we can order the other ones for you. So yeah, next up, what do we have? Oh, Emily's gonna probably have to help me with this one, because this one we didn't talk about, but I love this canvas. We brought this in actually fairly recently, so
I think you can
I can punt. Okay, so first of all, people always ask me this question: what do I do about this yellow background? You can stitch that yellow background, absolutely. And Emily included this yellow, which is going to fall into play in other places. But sometimes that surround is just so you know where to stop stitching, because it has a white background, and where does it end? So that is that. I would love to be able to tell you what all these flowers are, but I don't know. So let's talk about the background. The background, Emily pulled her favorite, Avera Soie Blanc, again, because it is a really white. And the greenery, you could stem stitch, you could tent stitch, you could outline stitch. In this overdyed, this is an overdyed Avera Soie from Threadworks. It is so beautiful. Their colors are just so fantastically spot on. So you have these 2 yellows. Was this?
That was for the, at first I thought, you know what? At first I thought it was for the bow, but then I decided that light yellow will just kind of be like, you could put it in, mix it in with the ribbon, kind of in little spots. But when I looked at the book, I decided the bow stitch was kind of necessary.
So the ribbon stitch on page 15, let's start there. Ribbon stitch on page 15. Okay, so here's your ribbon stitch. It is very similar to the straight stitch, but it's kind of controlling the tip of it. So it's sometimes referred to as Japanese ribbon stitch, which is what they're doing. I'm just making sure. Yes, it is what they're doing. You lay the ribbon on top of itself, and you kind of make a little pucker at the end. So I think Emily was talking about doing Japanese ribbon stitch for these.
I mean, at least
flowers?
some, yeah, I don't know. You could kind of mix it up, what the techniques that you do for it, but I just thought it makes it look like petals.
Look at how pretty that pink ribbon is. This is so pretty. This is another overdyed from Treenway. Let's see if I can read this one's. New Beginnings. So perfect for a little bouquet of spring flowers. And then you could do some French knots, you could do some straight stitches, you could do some ribbon stitches, and then these two yellows, so pretty. And then we're gonna talk about the bow. So the bow is really fantastic. This, I have not used this page in the book yet.
Look really cool.
Let's see, what page are we on in the book? Page 25. I feel like a teacher here. Students, turn to page 25. Look at these bows, you guys, with descriptions of how to do all of these bows. So the bow on this canvas is painted very similarly to that first pink bow, I think. Pink or blue bow, either one. And so Emily was thinking to utilize that technique with
you could use one or both or whatever you choose.
Yeah, you could use one or both, but look at this one. This one has a lot of over-dyed to it, so it's going to give you that effect. Really, really good. So we love that little canvas. It would be a great bag tag. That said, because you're doing ribbon work isn't necessarily, doesn't lend itself to a bag tag. Bag tag is going to get a lot of touches and feels, whether you want it to or not. So I would love if you did all of that ribbon work on this to really more take it to a framer and have them do a little mat, maybe to like a 5x7 size, and buy yourself a pre-made 5x7 frame would be darling. And just hope it's not wood, and hope your in-laws' dogs don't chew it up. So, okay, next up, where are we? Oops, that piece of paper goes with that guy. Oh, I forgot about this. Thank you, Emily.
Yep.
I'd like to say it's my blind side, but it's not. Okay. Oh, my threads are getting confused.
I can help you.
I'm just trying to keep them in. I think that gray
funny.
goes up here.
Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna start with one that I did, so I feel like I know what I'm doing.
Okay, sounds good.
And then I'll do yours.
Yep.
Okay, so you guys know we love Kelly Clark around here. She is a wonderful human being, uber talented. She loves her ribbon work. She loves her stump work. She started out as, shoot, I can't remember what company. Doesn't really matter, as a wallpaper designer, like back in the day, for a wallpaper designer that starts with a W. Can't quite grasp it, but she has a fantastic way with creating animals, and she is just a dynamite stitcher. So this darling, did we decide she's a goat?
Oh, I think so, for sure.
Okay.
I don't know.
Screwed it
I'm
up
gonna
the
look
other
it
day.
up.
So here is, I think she always has cute names for her stuff too. So
Yeah.
I pulled this one. I would do this background in this slightly overdyed Belle Soie, which is called Aqua Velvet. And normally I would do like, I think those little white dots might call for something super sparkly, but I didn't want to do that because we have a lot of other things going on. So I'd probably just do little cross stitches and essentials. I try to use essentials when there's just a little bit of color. I would stitch that darling little goat in velvet, just in 10th stitch.
Oh, Waverly.
Waverly, thank you. I knew.
Lisa Ferguson
I almost
came
had
here.
it. I almost had it. I was like, I wanted to say Wayfair, and I'm like, that is so not right. But yes, it absolutely is Waverly. That Kelly Clark started out designing for.
Sorry, didn't mean to.
That's okay. I picked this goes with something else. Do you think that goes with yours? I bet that goes with yours. I don't know. We have randos
No, I think
involved
that
here.
goes. I think that goes with the lavender one or the whatever, the violet one.
You're right. It does.
Yeah.
Okay. Her hat. Love this sort of work. Of course, we are all still in like a deep mourning period over Silk Road Fibers. It will come back. It's not here right now, but it will be here. And there are, I swore I wrote down a page from this. Well, I did. Okay, it is over here, page 15. There are so many great basket stitches in this book. 12. I swear my eyes have gotten worse, like just in like the last 3 days. Maybe it's because I'm tired. Here it is, woven trellis. So this is the stitch I would do in the basket book with this thread for her hat. You don't have a lot of real estate, so you can't get too hog wild, but you actually might even just use that woven trellis for the brim of her hat and do something else for the top. I didn't get that far. I would do her hat brim because again, you are going to be doing something fantastic with this ribbon work in these 3 essentials colors. I thought they were so pretty together. You don't have a lot going on. We do try to keep the price down where we can. I would do, oh, that's why I picked that. Ha ha ha. I would do the greenery and Threadworks. But these Threadworks colors are really great substitutes for the Silk Road fibers that we're all missing. It kind of has that same overdyed look that the Silk Road fibers had. It's not going to be the same, but it's a really, really great substitute these days. And then for the ribbon flowers on this one, I would do the Gathered Rose, and that's on page 21 of our book. There we go. And basically you are running a running stitch. Yes, I just duplicated that comment. Down the middle or edge of your ribbon. And you're going to want to use 1 ply of a pink like floss, whether it's silk or cotton, it doesn't really matter. And then you can create this darling little gathered rose down there. And how cute are those going to be on her hat and at her neck? Oops.
Those are so easy to do.
They're very easy. They're a little futzy the first time you do them because you're like, how close do I get my tacking, my basting stitches? You go in, out, in, out, and out. You know, so there's like a slight learning curve, but once you do one, you're like, I got it. So, yeah, so I think this little, like, again, Emily and I are both like, oh, now I need to take this home. I have stitched a lot of Easter eggs, and I love having them done as stand-ups, and I should have shown you guys that first, so let's show you that now. This is an old Melissa Shirley, but I still love it. Our finishers do a fantastic job with doweling them up, and you can see where I did these little looped flowers here, and I'm sure that I wanted to keep the loops somewhat consistent, and so that's where you might use a ribbon laying tool to make sure that your loops are similar. So these, all these egg canvases we're going to show you can be finished similar to this. I stitched this in 2016. The back says I said it. It's been a little while. So, so that is the first one in that set. Then we have a second one that Emily pulled together. That is 100% a darling little rabbit. So let's see. I am sure that Emily wanted the background done in this gorgeous Avera soie for the background. We have a lot of threads here.
Yep, here. So then this for the little dots in the background, I thought.
Okay, so there's pretty. The 2 background. Ooh, there's a little radiance. And with the pink,
now,
so pretty.
For the bunny's body and face, I did those. Okay. And then the whisper, I might only, you can add, even though the whisper is white, you can add one strand of the whisper and maybe 2 strands of the overdyed Bella Lusso together to kind of make it like an ombre effect.
Yeah, so Whisper, if you haven't used it before, let me see if I can get to the back of this and show you guys. I'm going to stick my finger under this, the tie down stitch. Do you see how little it is? Can you, like, let me put it over my fingernail where there's some contrast. It's super skinny. So basically, if you put this in a needle with any other color, like you want to usually try to get close to it, but that fluffy effect will come out and the color will just become whatever color you're putting it with. So that's, to Emily's point, what you're using for her bunny body. And if you want it fluffier, you can take, you know, one of those toothbrushes we still get at the dentist, but most of us use Sonicares, or you can treat yourself to a boo-boo brush, which I actually think we have in the building for a change. And that will be the bunny body. And then we've got his ears.
The ears, I just did simple with some essentials.
Yep, we, like I said, small areas. We try to keep it down with cards of essentials.
I did the lava, and we don't have black essentials right now, but I would do black essentials for the eyes and the lava just for the darker contrast.
Those like kind of outlining areas. Perfect.
I would do the velvet for the bow and maybe even the inside of the hat. So
really pretty.
I love that raspberry color.
And I love stitching with velvet.
And then for the hat, again, the baskets. I mean, I was thinking you could
oh yeah,
tent stitch it, or you could do the woven trellis, which is the one that we were showing.
So we were talking about this earlier.
Yeah.
Again, these are smaller woven areas, so you want to stick with a smaller scale stitch. And instead of pulling Threadworks, Emily pulled these 2 colors of vineyard silk. And you could go to a treme stitch again because you've got this contrasting colors, or you could just stitch it all in basket weave in the contrasting colors too, because you're gonna have a lot of fun going on up here. So 10 stitch is never a bad choice. Never, never, never.
And then these,
Your
I think, are self-explanatory.
Your greenery is right there for the hat. And then Emily was talking about, again, ribbon stitch. We'll go back to, and that's the one that has like the little pucker at the end. So you're gonna have stitches like that.
That for the white, for sure.
And the white is a smaller scale because those are smaller flowers. So those kind of little dangly flowers again. Where's Colleen when we need her? And then...
And the violets, honestly, I was toying with a couple different things. Like, I like doing, you can almost do I didn't see it in the book, but I've seen, like, Coco Frank has done this technique before where you almost do like a running stitch on the inside, and then you do a French knot on top of it to hold it down.
Okay, that makes sense. And those skills are all in here. They're just brought together. Yeah. Speaking of Coco Frank, sorry to do this, but since you brought her up,
okay.
She's very, very talented. She has just had, I don't know if it's her first child or her second. I don't know. She was on maternity leave. And I have just recently contacted all of my customers that had outstanding orders. She is no longer fulfilling wholesale orders until 2027 at this point. So I just don't want anyone, since we brought her up, to be all excited about, oh, but I thought I've been wanting that Coco Frank. I can't get them for you. So sorry. That's that. There we go. I have one more egg, which is a larger egg, and definitely more for people that are really all about their flowers. The cutesy isn't here, but I had so much fun pulling these threads. And it was a little bit of a challenge. It was my hardest one of the morning, honestly. So another Kelly Clark egg. So beautiful. And this is where your flowers are really going to shine. You are going to need a little bit of a background on this egg, because if you look closely, there's like little background areas that are showing through, and the finisher also will need a couple rows of shadow stitching. One of my very favorite whites in the building is Soy Luster Blizzard. It is white, white, white. You will use 2 strands of this most of the time on 18 mesh, and that would be your shadow stitching in the background. We're gonna need page 29 in there. You got it, sorry, thank you. Your greenery, I would just keep simple in Vineyard Silks. I picked a lot of other over-dyed colors. Thank you. And then for the purples at the bottom, I picked 3 Veriswa Threadworks over-dyed. Look at how gorgeous these are, you guys. I don't even like purple. I'm not a purple girl. So, so pretty. And then I picked a corresponding silk lame braid to do the kind of the trellis stitching with. It's on the bottom. And of course, a gorgeous gold. It's kind of a little bit on the yellowy side because we've got a lot of yellow going on in this canvas. And then for the yellows, we're going to get to the fun part, of course. For the yellows, I would do this, you go away, thread, really pretty, slightly over-dyed Belle Soie. This is called Cake. Of course, I like it. It's called Cake. Oh my gosh, you guys, my daughter's wedding cake was so cute. She wanted a heart-shaped cake. And then we had the topper from my mom and dad's wedding. That was then my cake, my wedding topper. It's so vintage 1950s. It's so cute. But where I'm going with all that is the cake was so good. Oh my God, it was delicious. It looked so cute and so beautiful, but it was so good. So there is the 2 yellows. And then For the flowers, I, like I said, don't know my flowers. These dangly flowers kind of represent the idea of what you would do. This is on page 29 for a foxglove. But remember, if you turn it upside down, that kind of looks like these, the wisteria. I don't know my flowers at all. They kind of mimic that. So I would go with this foxglove idea with this really pretty river silks. Look at that pink. Oh, so pretty. And then I would probably do straight stitches or Japanese ribbon stitches. This is called
I love that.
Valhalla.
Yeah.
I think. I can't read. Sorry, like I said, my eyes are
you're
going.
right.
For those purple flowers. The pansies, I was a theta, so I actually know that that's a pansy. That was our sorority flower. I would just do that in the yellows with maybe a little of the sparkle and maybe just basket weave those. You could, we could pull in a yellow other flower, but I think if all these flowers have got it going on, something a little simpler up here. And then you've got those simple little purple flowers at the top that I might do something fun with the two of these pulled in together. So that is the end of the eggs. And then we have two larger pieces, but I thought that was really pretty and it's just full of potential. Okay, we have this darling Melissa Shirley, Debbie Mom via, thank you, via Melissa Shirley, bunny canvas. You guys all know I love a good bunny. Oh no,
You're good.
I'm making a mess here. What else is
I can tell
new?
you my thoughts.
Okay, so, oh my gosh, he's so cute. So, here's this darling bunny. He's got a couple Easter eggs, a couple little chicks going on. So, background, yes?
I'm kind of consistent today.
Yes.
But it's the best colors, like literally
It is
color match.
So good. So we have to do a little math on this. You're gonna need a little more background. It is arched at the top, but there's absolutely no reason you couldn't square this off and make it a pillow inset if you wanted. I know you're saying, you're talking about ribbon work. Are you kidding? You do ribbon work on a pillow? Yes, I would, because my family is very well trained. And if there's a needlepoint pillow on the couch and you go to sit down, you pick it up and you put it gently on the ground and then you put it back in its spot. So if your family isn't as well trained as mine, no, this would be much better as a stand-up or a framed piece. So blue background, and then the bunny, Emily pulled these fun Bella Lusso, and Bella Lusso is another great thread that we don't use enough. It is so budget friendly. The colors are fantastic. It is a wool, but it's so soft. You know, it's not cashmere, but it practically feels like cashmere. It is a high-end wool, and you normally, if you can see it, it's sticking out there. It's like 2-ply. Typically, you would use on 18 mesh, and the colors are really good, especially for animals. So that would be the bunny itself.
Oh, that's the chick's legs.
Okay.
Stuff.
So the chicks are gonna get fluffy?
So yes, but I've had this idea before. Fuzzy stuff is a thinner thread. I think it would be kind of cool to try, maybe, running it with some of the thread works.
Well, and I think that makes sense because typically you don't want to basket weave with fuzzy stuff because all the fuzz ends up on the back. So in this case, what I might do, I'm gonna kind of steal some of your thunder. I might basket weave the chick and then do long stitches for his wing.
Yeah.
And these colors work together perfectly. Sorry, let me move that. Those two colors work together perfectly. So the wing is in front of the rest of the bird, so dimensionally it makes sense. And then that bird has a cute little beak and a cute little pair of legs, of course. So here is his legs. So I like, we got there together. That was great. Yeah. The butterflies, I think you are probably gonna stitch in the same yellow with a little accent of,
I think, well,
that,
there's enough, but yeah, different colors.
It's a little accent of that. We didn't pull the black. I mean, most of us have that much black in our stash. So that's going to be your little butterflies. And I'm going through process of elimination here.
Yeah,
So you've got
I
the
double
one,
pulled something, sorry.
you've got the very front, the
Oh, no,
bottom.
I didn't.
This is gonna be for the
Well,
very
actually,
bottom stripe.
I pulled this one for the bottom stripe, and then those ombre on the egg, on the checkers.
So sorry. This is what happens when we don't get a chance to go through everything. So there is that for the bottom.
Yep.
And you could do a really cute, like dive into one of your books where it has border stitches and do like a kind of a braided border stitch down there with this. I think would be really pretty. This bottom egg, I think is going to be a lot of like Scotch stitches. No, the way it's painted, it's a little bit on a curve. This is probably all going to be 10 stitch, don't you think, Em?
Yeah, I wouldn't do anything too crazy with it. So I like the neon rays to make it kind of look shiny on the green. And then I did 3 different stranded. I know it's a lot of stranded, but that way you can, again, you can kind of ombre it with the multi-strand.
So pretty. Yeah. So what Emily's talking about is some of these squares. Sorry, I don't have enough hands. I need like 4 more hands. Some of these squares down here are like half dark pink and half light pink. So you can put like 2 strands of one color and 1 strand of the other, and then you can change it to like the lighter 2 and 1 darker. So that's how you are going to get that little ombre effect before you move into the lightest color. Then we have this cute little blue egg, which was here.
Yep.
And
I think it should be, I mean, even though it's an egg, those big flowers could totally be ribbon.
for sure.
And I liked it because it's just something fun and different.
So this overdyed is so pretty. And I would do, we're missing our white, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I would do a little white, probably just plain stitching, or you could do some straight stitches. You could try it in a white ribbon and then do French knots in the middle in this really pretty Lion King for the centers. So that would be that blue and pink egg.
Yep.
And then we've got the bunny's necklace, right?
Yep.
Which is where it's going to shine. So greenery is super subtle in the background. The ribbon's going to lay on top of it.
So you would do that first before you did any of your ribbon. Oh, sorry, that's the grass. I forgot about that.
Oh, well, that's okay. We're jumping all around. We're okay. So this is part of the necklace. We're going to jump back in. Emily also included a little bit of grass that you've got showing on here, going on down here.
Mm-hmm.
So this is really pretty, like minty, very Eastery colors for the background of the necklace. I would do the greenery first. And then you've got all of these flowers going on. What we were surprised by, one of my favorite techniques, in ribbon work is woven spiderweb ribbon roses, which is what's done on this top of this dachshund. Where I left the centers, I didn't do the full thing. The centers are French knots, but those are woven spider webs. And it is not in the ribbon book, but one of my other favorite books that I talk about quite often is Next Level Stitches. And Next Level has a lot of ribbony stitches in it that if you click this QR code on your phone, it will take you to Julia Snyder's private YouTube channel where she shows you step by step, so many tutorials in here. And the spider web woven is right up here on the top. So lots of other 3-dimensional stitches in here. There's also a ridge spider web in here. I don't think these flowers call for that. I would do the woven, and Emily pulled, let's see, 4 really pretty colors, yes?
Mm-hmm.
So this overdyed one, which you could use for part of the woven and part not, and the pink together and the 2 blues. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure.
And then the yellow would be the other one that I had pulled from before too. So
Back
and
up the bus, there's the
I
yellow.
thought that you could either stitch the ribbon that's holding on his wreath with just some of the swaddle, the overdyed thread works, or
Yes.
you could use the ribbon book and do it in
Do
the
one of the
darker
bows
ribbon.
and
Yeah.
that one. If you want to, if you've learned your bow stitches now, you can take that and run. Whew, so he could, I mean, you could teach yourself so much ribbon work on that one canvas. It's fantastic. So the last piece we have is a 13 mesh larger piece. And I'm gonna guess this is probably what do you think, 12 by 16?
Yes, it's
Okay.
big.
We're going with
But
12 by
it's
16.
13, so it's
But it's 13
doable.
mesh, it's gonna go fast. I would also pick an open background stitch for this.
Yes.
To make it go by, the background part go by quickly. So this is from Pippin Designs, and it's backwards to you if you're watching us on Instagram. It is Flower Child, and I think it is gorgeous. So Emily picked, I think for the border, this green to do the border with, and flower, the word across the top in velvet. Background in an open stitch.
Yes, definitely.
Background in an open stitch in silk lame braid, and we could powwow on something like that for you.
Yeah, I might, if it's detail, if you could find like a detailed flower, I know it might be overkill, but I thought you could even size down to petite, even though it's 13, that way it would recede even more and put an emphasis on the, the floral ribbon work that you end up doing.
Really, really pretty. Okay, then you've got all these flowers going around. So we talked about ribbon stitch. Okay, let's talk about the green because these are the actual words you're going to do in thread work. So you're probably going to use 4 or 5 ply on 13 mesh. It's kind of personal choice, personal tension. And that's going to be the background for the letter. And then of course these little leaves. And I think I would just 10 stitch that. Yeah.
Yeah, I might have missed a light color of green, but
that's okay.
Anyway.
We always double check if people decide they want these.
Yes.
We double check. So ribbon stitch we've talked about, the one with the little puckers, and I'm sure Emily's talking about doing that on these orange ones. And you've got this gorgeous Casablanca for those orange flowers. The centers in this really pretty kind of melony bead. Oh, so cute. I love it.
I love this canvas now too.
I know, it's like we want to do them all. What about these little yellow flowers? Everything
The
just
little
long
yellow
stitches?
Yep, just something simple with this silk lame.
Yeah, just probably like long stitches, the length of the stitch in this silk lame. We've got some other little stitches or littler flowers that we're going to use as gorgeous shimmers. And what would you do with these?
I don't know. I mean, I might mix it up, like maybe do French knots for some of them, maybe do long and short, honestly, maybe just 10 stitch some of it.
Yep, and you can do French knots for the centers. You can throw in this bead for the center. But these shimmer blends are so beautiful. One is called Mary C, the other one is called Mary Ann, and they're going to do a lot of the work for you. So pretty. Then...
that's just simple. It was the lightest little pink flowers, so I figured we needed something that was appropriately pink.
Yes.
But the stars of the show with the ribbon are going to be your roses, which...
Page 33.
33.
So
okay.
You've got your blue flowers here, which you're probably just going to do French knots or ribbon stitch or straight stitch for those little tiny blue flowers. And then these ribbons.
That's like the star of the show. It's so good.
So this is on page 33. And again, the steps are here for you. This is kind of like a loopy rose. A rose that's had something too much to drink. I don't know, but it is so darn cute. And so you can do that in these 2 different beautiful ribbons. Emily picked 2 different sizes, a 7mm and 4mm, because you might want to do the inner loops in a narrower width. There's the word. In a narrower width than the outer loops.
Yes.
The outer loops would be the wider width.
Exactly.
Phew. Okay. I think we got through everything. So, as you can tell, I love this book. I still really wish I could get my old book, but the old book's gone. You got to move on. This book is available. Ann Cox is brilliant. $16. So many applications, and we probably could have come up with so many more canvases in the building to apply this to, but we love them. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. You got a little education on ribbon work. One thing I will say over and over again is it is easier than you think. I promise.
Yes.
I wouldn't do ribbon work the week after you learned how to thread a needle, but if you've been stitching for 6 months, a year, you're good to go. Take the book and fly. And you can probably dig into your stash and find some things. We don't keep our threads online because there are so many like dye lot issues over time. We don't like people to, and monitor issues, etc. So if you need ribbon for a canvas, you can send us a picture, let us know the size of the canvas, the mesh size. It's really hard to pick an entire canvas from a picture, but if you just need ribbons for a small area, we can absolutely do it from a picture. We're always willing to try from a bigger one, but you know, it's the caveat as in that it may not be perfect. But ribbons typically are going with florals. Flowers are in nature, they're not always the same color. They change over time. You know, you can even just tell even the cover of this book, like the different variations of color in all of these flowers. So anyway, hopefully you enjoyed that. I had fun working with it. Emily and I had fun together pulling these things. We don't always get to be as creative around here as we want to be, because some of what we do is, you know, ringing up orders and packing up orders and answering email. So it was really fun this morning to be able to do all this. So thank you for joining us. If you are a new customer to us and there was something you wanted, please DM us all of your contact information and give us a call with your credit card information. I will be back tomorrow for a regular unboxing. I think that's all I've got. Anything else, Em? Did I miss anything?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you soon. Bye.